In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Hello and greetings. This is Muhammad Sulaiman Ahmadzai, here with a new session for you, my friends. In our previous lesson, we talked about the Paint 3D program. We discussed the definition of Paint 3D. We went over the different ways to open it. We also covered the program's interface or its appearance. We also explained the welcome screen, what it was and what it did. After that, we described its interface and also learned how to arrange the canvas. We thoroughly worked on this part inside the canvas, and then, in the editing toolbar section, we covered everything from here to this part. We worked on the editing toolbar properties, which we have here as well, and we covered that too. In this section, we also worked with you on the tab bar buttons like Paste, Undo, and History, and so on. So, for now, the things that are left are the Crop tool, 3D Effect, Sticker, Text, and Effects. We'll cover those in the next video. In the Home tab, or actually the Menu tab, or the File tab. In the previous version of the program, this was called File, but here it's called Menu. For example, here we have a drawing or an object, and we assign it a fill color. For instance, we set a red color for it, and we can also set something for its background. Let's say we have an image in the File tab, or Menu tab. When we come here, first of all, we have the Save option. Its shortcut is Ctrl+S, and when we click on it, well, it gets saved. What is the default format of the Paint 3D program usually? It's PNG, Portable Network Graphics, which is usually used to save images without a background or logos. Logos are typically saved as PNG. So when you place a logo at the top of a document somewhere, the logo itself shouldn't have a background, otherwise it will create a separate page-like area. Again, PNG is usually chosen. But it doesn't really matter. You can choose JPG if you want, or you can select bitmap. For example, the program includes Paint 2D. It also supports animated GIF images. Actually, at this point, it doesn't matter whether we choose JPG or PNG, because we're going to open it again in the Paint 3D program. But if we want it to open inside Photo Viewer, then we have to save it as a JPG. For example, for now, let's select this and save it as 33. Yesterday, we told you to name this section Application Title. This one is called Application Title, and this one is called Page Title. When the file is saved, its type will appear in these sections. .png. 33 is the name of our file, .png. It also shows you the file extension, which is the abbreviation for the format it was saved in. It's PNG. For example, it could be JPG, GIF. Or, for instance, bitmap image. In short, it shows you all of those as well. For now, we've saved it in PNG format. If we want to make some changes to this file, for example, and save it again, we can use Save Again to update it. For instance, if we change the background with you, we need to update it again. So here, Save works as an update. But if we want to save the file again with a different name, we go back to the menu. Save As. In the Save As section, it asks us whether we want to save these images as a regular picture, as a 3D image, or as a video file that can be opened in a media player whenever you play it. Or as a Paint 3D project file, which means it can only be opened in this program, or as an image file that can be opened in other programs. If we want, we can choose to save it as an image, either as a PNG or a JPG. So, whichever one we select, it will save it as an image. For example, I selected number 22. If we choose Save As, we need to change the image and its name. If we just change its temporary location, then we don't need to change the image or its name. That means, when we select it, it becomes Save As. If I said no to this, for example, if we wanted to save these as a video, we could have chosen those options. For example, I'll save this image of the pen for you as a video. In the game key, I'll explain the video option for you in the next video, on the following day, along with its additional options, like which format we should save it in. Alright, let's leave it at this for now. We'll continue working on it again next time, on the following day. We can only save a video if it's a 3D model or a C-body model. We can save it if it's a C-body. I'll explain this to you later as well. I'll go over both of these together for you. But let me select this one. For example, the Paint 3D project actually saves this part for you so that when you want to open it again, it only opens in the Paint 3D program itself, and basically, it takes the PNG format. The PNG format opens within the Paint 3D program itself, and the file where we saved our unique project in Paint 3D is also shown here, indicating that on this date and at this time, there is a project. Meaning, if at any time we want to reopen this page, we need to have it saved like this. We don't even need to open it. Here, by default, is the project. Here are the projects that belong to you. It shows this mesh. By clicking on Start Again, it will reload it for you. We save the files in other formats, but when we come back to this section, it doesn't show them. Earlier, we had saved another file called 22foot. Because it was in a different format. It wasn't a project file itself. The Paint 3D program doesn't show it here. If we want, we can also remove it from the recent list. When we remove it, it doesn't get deleted. From here, what happens to our recent list? It just gets cleared. So, this was the difference between save and save as. Later, in save as, we'll work with these two options again in the Paint 3D section and in the video section. Just one thing, we covered the history section yesterday, where we could export the history specifically for video. That was a separate feature. This is different from that. So after this, what do we have? If we want to open a new page, we select New from the menu. A new page will open for us. If we want to open a previous image, we go up to Open. For example, if we want to open an image, after we go to Open, where do we go next? We go to Browse. Inside Browse, for example, we select an image and open it. At the top of the workspace, there's something called Insert. This is it. In the Paint program, we had something called Paste From. Paste From, for example, what did it do there? It would always open a copy of an image, and with Paste From, you could open several images at the same time. You couldn't do that with Open. It's the same thing here. With Open, we can open the image here at the moment. One always opens the original image. If you make changes, the changes will be applied to the original image itself. Second, with the Open series, we open the image with you. Only one image can be opened at a time. You can't open two images at the same time. Whereas if we do this through Insert, Insert opens a copy of the files. If you make changes to one file, those changes will never affect the original. Secondly, with this method, you can always open several files at the same time. You can open multiple images at once. For another one, one opens in one place, another somewhere else. Several can be opened. Just like the Post Frame feature in the Paint program, it does the same thing. Meaning, it does the same job for us. I know that if 3 images were open, we couldn't do this. Well, we have a section called Print. Obviously, from the name, you can tell that we can print from here. Since our image is currently 2-dimensional, we select 2D. The 3D section will also work for us later. But for now, I'm choosing 2D. Our image is 2-dimensional. Here, we select the printer ourselves if we have one. Here, we choose whether the page orientation should be portrait. For example, what should its size be? Should it be A4 or letter? Or, for example, we can select the image itself, set its fitting to fit to page, and choose which part of the page it should be on. We can choose left side, right side, bottom, center. In short, we can select the position. For example, set it to center, so it's in the middle. After that, we print it if a printer is available. If it prints for us directly. If there is no printer available, obviously it will save it for us instead. Now, if we look at that file again on the desktop, we'll see it's saved in PDF format, portable document format, and when we open it, it shows the font. Again, from here we can print it if we want to. We go up to the print option. We confirm it. We select which printer, how many copies to print, and whether it should be in color or black and white. Then we click print. Again, it will print from here if you want. After the print section, we have something called View in Mixed Reality. Yesterday, we also saw and worked on the fact that the Mixed Reality section allows us to use the belt itself. So for example, on top of your own MG belt, you can do a drawing or a paddle. You can work from here, or if this is the Mixed Reality edit, if the preview is disabled, here and there as well, usually when you have a 3D object, it becomes active. When you click on it, the belt is automatically activated. If our object is 2D, usually these don't work. We have a share button. If we want to share this picture with someone, we can do it from here, and with any app we have here, we can share this image with whoever we want, or we just click. For example, in this app, what's new for us is that it opens the welcome screen, and if we had internet, inside this app it would show us a complete tutorial. It would give us information. Tips and tricks would appear, showing what's new in this app. Overall, it shows what things this app can do, even though the whole app is new. We used to have Paint before this. Well, here we have some things. For example, learning feedback. Or, for instance, whenever you want, there are also some tutorial videos. Tutorial videos are informational, educational videos. If we click here to have it. For you, inside YouTube, there are tips and tricks, and if we want, we can learn some of its methods from here as well. If we want to download some graphics. For example, some things or, say, some blogs or some things that are 3D themselves, which are made in Paint itself. It shows you some 3D designs. Or here, through feedback, we can give Microsoft our own feedback. As long as there is internet access. When we click, it takes you to the Microsoft website and shows you all the images there, where you can download them, view them, and get inspired to create your own drawings. In another section that we have, called Settings. In the first setting we have, called Compact View. If Compact View is enabled, usually we have this sidebar section. This section, called the Editing Panel, makes things very limited for us. It makes it smaller, so that the preview of the image becomes a bit larger for us. For example, it shows it at this size. In the group category, the category opens up like a drop-down. Its settings and color options open up. But overall, it doesn't show everything in a detailed way. It used to show more. But since my computer screen is big, it doesn't really matter. That's why I leave it as is. I leave it so I can, for example, show it in full screen or display it completely. Second, if we have, say, a 3D object on this screen. For example, we have a 3D object. When we move the views, when we switch between the views, if we use this button for a certain part, if we switch the views, whenever we move our object or adjust its arrangement, it always selects the position for us. For example, it picks its place. You see this blue line. This blue line always, for example, shows the size and the width and length and in which position it is. It always measures it. It makes our work a bit easier by showing us where on the page we are placing something. If it's off, for example, this measurement unit won't show us these boundaries. Alright, after this, we have something called Show Welcome Screen. We already covered this at the beginning today. If it's off, whenever we open the Paint program, it won't show us the welcome screen anymore. If it's on, it will show it, and we can also choose the quality. Whenever we, for example, render something on the device, meaning we create a 3D object and save it, in a way that, when rendering a video, it determines at which quality it should render. For example, whether it should be normal, high, or ultra high. Although it itself tells us to choose normal, it recommends that one. Considering, for example, that our computer might not have enough dedicated RAM or a GPU. Based on that, it says, well, choose this one, but it's not a problem because the graphics here aren't very high. We can choose this one, and we can also choose that one. It's not always necessary for their animations to always have smooth textures, for example. It always picks a certain smoothness, a kind of softness for itself. And finally, dear friends, I ask you that if you found the videos useful, please like them to support us and help the channel grow. Subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you in the next sessions. Goodbye.